We are Tapestry, and we're here to present you with another video in our 5-part series on John Gottman's 7 Principles to Making Marriage Work. My name is Daniel Peaks, and I'm a counselor at Tapestry. This is part 4, where we will be discussing Principles 4, 5, and 6 from Gottman's book, which focus on managing conflict. Principle number 4. Be influenced by your spouse. What does that mean? Basically, it means if there's a decision to be made, regardless of who's the expert or who has more knowledge in the topic at hand, allow your spouse to give you their 2 cents worth. Here are some positive things to accepting influence. It conveys honor and respect because you're allowing each of you to speak and to express your opinions. That strengthens the marital friendship because you're working collaboratively. You're also better positioned to reach compromise because you're both listening to each other. And one thing husbands really need to work on is emotional intelligence. In Gottman's research, they found that only 35% of husbands are emotionally intelligent. That basically means we have trouble dealing with emotions, hearing other people's emotions, and expressing our own emotions. So that's something that most husbands, most men could work on. What happens if you don't accept influence? 81% divorce rate when men are not willing to share power, and women are more likely to respond harshly and escalate conflict. That's generally when the nagging starts. When a woman doesn't feel heard, that's when she starts to nag from a man's perspective. Principle number 5, solve solvable problems. Most problems in a marriage are solvable. Here are some skills to master. Soften startups. Even if you're angry, justifiably so, or you're hurt, you can begin a conversation softly, respectfully. You don't need to begin screaming at your partner. That's never going to work. Make and accept repair attempts. We'll get to that in a minute. Soothe your partner and yourself. Know what each of you likes or needs to calm down. Compromise. And then tolerate your partner's faults. None of us are perfect. I statements are a way to express your emotions in a way that's really non-defensive. It's hard to get angry at somebody when they're really opening up to you. And that's what an I statement is designed to do. It's basically complaining without blaming. So you use I instead of you. You're focusing on yourself as opposed to your partner. You describe only what is happening. You don't judge the other person. You're clear, you're polite, and you are appreciative that the other person's listening to you. And don't store things up. If you need to say something, if you feel it inside you that you need to say it, you need to share it. Keeping it inside, pinning it up, is only going to make things worse for you and the relationship because you're avoiding what really needs to be talked about. Here's a template for an I statement. It doesn't have to look exactly like this in real life, but this is kind of a way to look at it. When something happens, I feel some emotion. I need or I would appreciate some change in behavior or attitude. Here's an example. When the dishes don't get washed, I feel frustrated because the kitchen is cluttered. I need you to put them away when you have a chance. You can't control your partner's feelings and or reaction, nor should you try. Some things that you say are just not fun to hear, and you shouldn't hold them back because you're afraid of how your partner is going to respond. You need to be assertive and express your emotions, but at the same time be respectful for your partner. You can't control how they're going to respond. Hopefully, if it's a good relationship, they'll be at least a little bit understanding. Repair attempts. Learn to make and receive repair attempts. They help de-escalate conflict. They don't avoid conflict. The goal is to recognize your partner's attempt and or offer your own repair attempt when things get a little harsh. And then accept your partner's repair attempt if they make it. It's not about winning and losing. Principle number 6, overcoming gridlock. Here are a bunch of signs that gridlock is occurring in your relationship. You can pause the video and have a look at these signs, but I'm going to move on and get to the cause of gridlock. Most issues with gridlock occur when one's dreams are not being respected or acknowledged by the other. Sometimes the person who has the dream doesn't even realize they have a dream. It's something that really kind of needs to be discussed, thought out, and figured out together. Happy couples empower each other to help fulfill each other's dream. It doesn't mean you have to agree with it, and it doesn't mean you have to jump on board at that very moment, but the big issue is to listen, hear, validate your partner's feelings in regards to that dream. Here's how you detect a dream. This is you discover the underlying dream that is fueling the conflict. And honoring that dream is simply hearing it out. You express understanding. You can offer support. Doesn't mean you have to agree. You can share in the dream if you feel like you need to at that time. Soothe each other if things get hot again. And then end the gridlock. You continue to discuss the issue constructively. And accept the differences between your partner and yourself. You don't have to always have the same dream. But it's always a good thing to hear out the other person's dream. Just acknowledge it, respect it. Because that's part of your partner's identity, in essence. So here's the conclusion. Principles for managing conflict. Be influenced by your spouse. Solve those solvable problems using the tips we went over. And then overcome the gridlock by hearing, validating your partner's dream. Thank you very much for watching this video. Again, we are Tapestry, located in Marietta, Georgia. Thank you very much.